Oh, beloved dub-dub motherfuckers. What is going on, everyone? It is I. It is everyone's favorite jack of all trades with the foul mouth, Commodore Urban. And welcome back to another awesome fucking video, guys. I greatly do appreciate it. And before I do dive into this bitch, I want to give a big special shout out to all of you guys. My viewers, my subscribers, for sticking around watching this shit. The reason why I fucking do it's for all you guys, so yeah. Anyway, I got myself an awesome, it's gonna be an awesome fucking video, guys. I have here a nice little setup of Titanic related items, including my awesome 1/400 scale detailed model of the infamous unsinkable ship herself from Academy Models. This drawing I did of the ship, as she would look like as a person, and with the ship in the foreground. I thought it was kind of a... And of course these two books here, Her Name Titanic, The Untold Story of the Sinking and the Finding of the Unsinkable Ship, and Ghost of the Titanic. And the reason why I'm showing you these two books is because they're both written by Dr. Charles Pellegrino. This first one is his first one. This is the earliest one. This is like from the 80s, 90s, or 80s. I believe this is 80s. I have to look at the print date on it. 1988, okay. So this is 1988. That was when he published his first book. And the second book on the subject, Ghost of the Titanic, was published in 2000. Now, you're probably wondering, why are we talking about Charles Pellegrino in these two books? Well, because he wrote a third one, and he wrote the third book back in 2012 at the centenary of the Titanic disaster, and it was titled Farewell Titanic, Her Final Legacy. Now this is the third book of his Titanic trilogy. So here it is, Farewell Titanic, Her Final Legacy by Charles Pellegrino. It says that the Titanic was the biggest, most luxurious passenger ship the world had ever seen. The ads proclaimed it to be unsinkable when it sank in April 1912 after hitting an iceberg, killing more than 1,500 people. Actually, it was 1,496, so fucking get it right. The world was forever changed, and we have been spellbound ever since. Now, a century later, the Titanic is about to disappear forever. No, that's true, because part of her bow railing is falling off, so that's fucking true. Its infrastructure will finally collapse in the next few years. In this book, scientist and New York Times best-selling writer Charles Pellegrino offers what may be our last opportunity to see the ship before it is lost to the sea for eternity. In Farewell Titanic, world-renowned Titanic expert Charles Pellegrino recreates the great ship's final hours in stunning detail, clears up several key mysteries about what actually happened, and reveals new information about how and why the ship went under so quickly. This is probably the last book that could have been written while Titanic survivors were still alive. And in Farewell Titanic, Pellegrino draws on survivors' first-hand stories of the tragedy, as well as evidence he and others have collected during their deep-sea explorations of the ship's remains in the last 25 years. Together, these sources create a riveting account of the intensely dramatic moments before and after the collision and of the aftermath. Farewell Titanic also goes far beyond the nightmarish catastrophe to draw connections between the loss of more than 1,500 souls and some of the tragedies of our own era, which actually would be 9/11. Drawing on the authentic personal story, it's kind of hard to read. The book examines with rare sensitivity and immediacy the cautionary scientific and poignant spiritual lessons of disaster. Filled with dozens of extraordinary original color photos of the great ship, Farewell Titanic offers compelling reading for anyone who is fascinated by forensic marine science, who is simply moved by the timeless drama of history's most legendary shipwreck. Fuck. Okay. And there's the guy right there, Mr. Pellegrino himself. I'm not gonna fucking read that shit. If you want to pause and read it, you can. But anyway, This book deals with the expeditions to the Titanic. It was Expedition Titanic 13, or the expeditions that actually helped to create this movie here. James Cameron's Ghost of the Abyss, which, yes, I do fucking own it. But yeah, it was during these dives when Pellegrino talks about in this book. And the chapters included are Convergence, Far from Okay, Slight Trepidation, Lightning Dolphins, Trinity of Nature, Not Above It, The Cascade Point, Everything Was Against Us, Stalking the Nightmare, Points of Departure, Geometry of Shadows, How Much Does Darkness Weigh, The 46th Psalm, The Truth About William Murdoch, The Dream on the Ship of Sorrows, Falling Stars, Movements of Fire and Ice, Fragility, A Crevice in Time, Dark Circle, Explorers, Graves and Lovers, Terminal Velocity, Laying the Music to Rest, A Fury Scorn, Sleeping in Light, Coming Home to Shot Cocoons, The Long Night of Ellen, Betty Phillips, The Thieving Magpies, Monsters Down There, Ghost of the Abyss, Preserving, and Destinations Unknown, with a foreword written by Tom Detweiler. And basically with he basically takes you back through not just the voyage that produced the movie Ghost of the Abyss, but also outlines other expeditions to the wreck he was on, including expeditions to the wreck when he wrote Ghost of the Titanic, and also when he was writing his book, Her Name Titanic. And there are several passengers that he does talk about more about in this book than the other Titanic books have, including, trying to remember his name, Hozono. He was a Japanese passenger in second class. He talks about him in pretty much detail, and there's also Madeline Mellinger, and there are several other passengers he talks about. And a 26-year-old architect engineer, Joseph LaRoche. He was the only black man on the Titanic. There's actually a book written about it. It's called Black Man on the Titanic. Right here. Masabumi Hosono. That was another. And he goes through their experiences and also the experiences of their loved ones. Because with LaRoche's, his ordeal, he didn't survive, but his wife did. Her name was Juliet, and she was white. And they had two little girls. Their name was Simone and Louise. And of course, back during them days, interracial marriages were really fucking frowned upon and shit. And pretty sad shit. But he goes through and lists all this out, and also lists out the things that were happening during the Titanic's expedition, including the rescue of Jake and Elwood, and also about what happened in 9/11. He talks about 9/11 a lot in this book, about the crash of the Twin Towers, because he does comparisons of the 9/11 disaster with the Titanic disaster, that the Titanic disaster for the Edwardian era society was the turning point for them, just like the 9/11 Trade Center attack was the turning point for us as a culture. And overall, as I read this, and it's just very straightforward and very honest. And the thing that really made me sad was the fact that at the end he said that he had to retire from diving in submersibles because of what was called 9/11 lung, because he went back after everything happened, went back and did study and research at ground zero to figure out what happened. And the book is very genuine and very real. That's what I'm trying to say. In the end, it really makes you think more about not just the Titanic itself, but humanity as a whole. And there's also a lot of really neat scientific shit in the book too, which honestly some of the stuff really got me fucking lost, but once I got kind of wrapped a little bit around and knew what I was talking about, it was interesting. But overall, it's a human story. It's a story not just about the Titanic and the survivors he lists, but it's also the story about his own personal story. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful fucking book. So overall, great book. And if you ever see this Mr. Pellegrino, fabulous fucking work you've done. Absolutely love it. Love it. It's, like he says, spiritual lessons, a disaster, poignant. And it really was. And overall, Farewell Titanic, Her Final Legacy. Great book. Great fucking book. It's definitely a nice, fitting tribute to the Titanic, and also kind of an adieu to that part of his life, because he, like I said, fucking 3 books cover this whole subject here. So overall, I give the book Farewell Titanic, Her Final Legacy 2 big fucking thumbs up and 5 stars. It's well worth reading. It took me a little while to read it just because some of the scientific shit was kind of boring, but other than that, it was a great read overall. Loved it. And if you are a book collector like me, and if you have his other books, you have to have this one too. So now I have the Charles Pellegrino's Titanic trifecta. So there you have it, guys. That is my review for the book Farewell Titanic, Her Final Legacy by Dr. Charles Pellegrino. And if you have any questions or comments about anything, I'm leaving in the comment section below. I'll get back with you. And if you're new to the channel, like the shit I fucking do, hit the fucking subscribe button. Hit the damn notification bell, never miss a video for yours truly ever again. Let's get to over 2,000 subs by the end of the year. It'd be fucking awesome, so yeah. So until next time around, this is Commodore Urban. Saying a smooth season, clear skies, and happy sailing with all of you. God bless you all. Take care, stay safe, be yourselves. Jesus and the good Lord love you all very much. And until next time around, I'll catch you in a warm trade one where hell anyone knows. Let's go, Brandon. Fuck Joe Biden. And fuck Comrade Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim Walz, Bo. They fucking suck. We don't need that shit. And Trump 2024, baby. Yeah.